When she was a little girl, her voice was the kind of sound that could light up a room, sweet and bright like the first song of a morning bird, and everyone around her said she was born to sing, as if music itself had chosen her. But sometimes life takes away the very thing that defines you. And when she was only 11 years old, a sudden fever left her struggling to breathe, her throat burning with pain, and when the illness finally passed, the doctors delivered words that shattered her entire world. She would never speak again, her vocal cords were damaged beyond repair, her voice was gone forever, and what followed was not just silence but a deep emptiness inside her. Because how do you go on when the one gift that made you feel alive is ripped away from you? And at first she cried every night, pressing her face into her pillow so her family would not see, and then she stopped crying because she realized even her sobs carried no sound. The world had grown quiet and cruel, and people treated her differently. Teachers who once asked her to lead the school songs now avoided her. Friends drifted away because they did not know what to say, and slowly she built a wall of silence around herself, but deep inside a fire still burned, the memory of how it felt to sing, the way her chest lifted when notes soared out of her. And though everyone told her to accept her fate, she refused to let go of the dream that one day she would be heard again. So she began to write down songs in notebooks, lyrics she could not sing but felt with every beat of her heart, and she would sit at her desk late at night, humming silently in her mind, pretending the words had sound. And though it was torture, it also kept her alive, because hope, no matter how fragile, is still hope. And over the years she learned sign language, she learned to write, she found ways to express her soul without a voice. Yet every time she watched someone else sing on stage, something inside her broke a little more, until one day, a doctor in another city announced a new kind of vocal therapy, something experimental that many dismissed, but for her it was not foolishness, it was possibility. So she traveled, she begged her family to let her try, and after months of hesitation they agreed, and the therapy began, painful, exhausting, humiliating at times, because the first sounds that came out were broken gasps, rough noises that barely resembled speech, and she wondered if she was chasing an impossible dream. But she refused to stop, day after day practicing breathing exercises, shaping vowels, strengthening muscles that had long been weak, and even when her throat ached and failure stared her in the face, she remembered the little girl who once sang without fear, and she kept going, until one afternoon, after nearly a year of relentless work, she managed to speak her first clear word, not loud, not perfect, but hers, and tears filled her eyes as she realized the silence had finally cracked, and from that day forward, step by step, her words grew stronger, until words turned into phrases, phrases into sentences, and eventually, she dared to try what she had feared most, to sing again. At first it sounded broken, trembling, not the soaring melodies she remembered, but over time her voice found strength, texture, emotion, and though it was not the same as before, it carried something deeper, the weight of everything she had suffered. And when she finally stood on a stage again after more than a decade of silence, the crowd waited in hushed expectation, many doubting that someone who had lost her voice forever could truly return. But when she opened her mouth, the first note rose like a fragile bird breaking free of its cage, shaky at first but growing, filling the hall with a raw, powerful beauty that silenced every whisper of doubt, and people wept openly because they were not just hearing a song, they were witnessing a miracle. And in that moment she was no longer the girl who had lost her voice, she was the woman who had found it again through unimaginable pain and perseverance. And her comeback became a story the world could not ignore, inspiring those who had been told their dreams were impossible, reminding them that sometimes the most broken voices sing the most powerful songs. And as she stood under the lights, tears in her own eyes, she realized her voice had never truly left her. It had been waiting, deep inside, for the day she was strong enough to let it out again, and the silence that once defined her life was finally replaced by the sound of hope carried in every trembling, unforgettable note she sang.